want to do a reading of, I think this is my favorite line in all of the Game of Thrones thus far. I think it's so poignant. I think it's poetic. I think it's George really tapping in to the human psyche.
Mm-hmm.
This is the line. It's in Jon. Woo!
Yeah, no, I was, here's the thing, Spicer. I was very excited. When we got to his first ow, because let me tell you, this is not his last.
Oh, no.
And
Oh no, this is not Ghost. This is not Ghost.
I know.
Yeah. Oh really?
It's written when he writes it. When he writes like 50 O's in a row and then like 10 W's or whatever.
No, there's more.
There's more, baby. There's more. This is a bit. This is a motif, if you will. This is reality. It is one of the goofiest things I've ever seen, and it's in every book, and I think it is so funny. I'm like, this is so funny. Because this man was... Here's the thing. The reason these books can be so fucking long, the reason these books are gargantuan, and like a publisher agreed in the first place, is because this man was already very well established. This was a revered figure in the science fiction fantasy realm. So the fact that this man goes... Let me show you how to do some prose right here. let me go. Ooh,
Ooh.
Just keeps going, and it just keeps going. Sometimes it'll happen. Oh, and Spicer, when there's horns, anytime there's a horn, you're gonna hear that. And let me tell you, remember, because I'm not gonna say when. I'm not gonna spoil. Ooh, but remember how they drop like the little tidbit, like, oh, one horn means the watch is returning, the Rangers are returning. 2 horns means this. 3 horns mean this. So let me tell you, when there's a few horns going on, you're gonna see that a few times in one page.
Jesus Christ.
Welcome to A Song of Spice and Rhani, a Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire podcast where the girls, the gays, the theys, and the well-behaved straights. I am your host, totally drugged up Rhani. Hi.
And I am your rosé sipping Cersei on my balcony, looking at my domain host, Spicer.
Yeah, you are, baby. And every single week, we will be going over 3 chapters from the A Song of Ice and Fire book series, breaking down what happens, the lore, theories, and our favorite deaths. Spicer, what was the singular most upsetting death for you in the last hour of your life? Because I know you experienced many in the lead up to us recording this.
Oh, yes. I mean, well, there was the death that happened a few days ago of my bowels, because I got food poisoning. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, do not eat the food truck outside the club. It might be the siren sound, the siren call of the cheeseburger when you are drunk. Is tempting, but don't do it. So there was that. But then the death of my password to log into Zoom. That died. That was very upsetting. And my Zoom telling me you have to update your password, but in order to update my password, I need to find a piece of plastic from when I was in grad school buried in the depths of my closet, and like the Tolkien dwarves of old, I mined into the depths of Moria of my shit, because I am a hoarder and I just keep everything. And eventually there she is. We found her, and we were able to log in, and death was no more. There was an incredibly long mixed metaphor for death. You're welcome.
Drink your rosé, Spicer. Just drink up. It's okay. Just
you're Mormont.
Lean back.
You're Mormont in this chapter. Drink.
Drink. Oh God. Yeah. No. I just happen to take like all the sick pills. We're also recording this like really early in the week. Normally we record on Sunday before I post, but I'm going to be on vacation. So thank you for like 5 people like Venmoed me money for like a vacation. And I know it was very sweet of people. I told you only to do it if you were rich, and some poors sent some money. So I'm really appreciative. I'm taking a vacation. Your money was well spent.
You know what, Ronnie?
But yeah.
I'll drink to that.
You'll drink to. Oh, thank you, baby. You're so kind. Look at you. Hey. But yeah, so we're recording early. So I took a bunch of like sick meds because I am still sick. But that's why I think I'm a little more chipper at least. But let's get going. These chapters, they incite a lot of rage in me. A lot of rage because this fandom is misogynistic. And let's talk about why. Starting off, Sansa 4. What happens in Sansa 4? Well, Sansa's been locked up in a room for 3 days. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know who's alive, who's dead. She is perplexed. See, the morning where she was told that she was going to have to leave King's Landing without saying goodbye to her beloved. She was going to lose all of her dreams. She snuck out of the apartment and she went and she told Cersei that she was leaving and like, please, can I stay? Blah, blah, blah. And Cersei's like, you are the goodest girl. Here, this night's going to take you to a room. Go chill out there. And there she did chill out for 3 fucking days without any response or answer or anything, as, you know, everyone around her died. Well, we now get a meeting. So Sansa is brought before Cersei and the rest of the small council, who decide, hey, what if we bully and like fucking tag team emotionally manipulate this 11-year-old girl incessantly for like 15 pages? Oof, not fun. But yeah, basically they do a lot of like psychological warfare where they're like, hey, yeah, you know, your dreams, and they're all gone now. They're all gone now because you don't have family, you don't have no one. Everyone you love is either dead or a traitor or a monster, and now we think you're a traitor and a monster. Hey, little girl who's obsessed with perception and whether she's being perceived as a good person. Do you want to be a traitor and a monster? Yeah, fun. So eventually they bully her.
Little Stark girl in drag. Why are you crying?
I just want to be pretty girl. Sorry. That was good though. So yeah, eventually they bully her into writing a letter where she's like, Robin, mother, please come apologize. Father did a whoops. Hey, it can all be good though. I can still marry the king. It'll all be fine. And Sansa's like, this feels weird, but okay, cool. Anyway, end of chapter. I'm skipping lots of details, but that's the gist.
Yeah, what a dingle hopper of a chapter. Just yeah, wowza. I mean, I think it's so funny that like once again, like and we before we got on, we were like, damn, these are brutal fucking chapters, and it's rough because like these are very long chapters for this book, and also like. There's no filler. Like everything is like very important, and it's like it's all very heavy. Like we don't get a nice little reprieve. It is all just very important, very heavy shit. And I think it's so interesting that like George at the beginning of the chapter is talking about how like Jane Poole is there with Sansa, and like Sansa's internal monologue of like, oh my god, she's such a child. Why is she, you know, crying? And it's very ironic, right? Like George is doing that purposefully of like Sansa is once again thinking, you know, I am the learned one, I understand what's going on here, but the irony is she is a child, right? And that explains all of her action, because like I once again, because I'm just remembering things that I forgot from the TV show, because the TV show was a decade ago, but like I forgot that Sansa's the one that caused the massacre, right? Like, not caused, like, set the chain.
I have a whole speech ready.
I was about to say, like, I knew that was triggered. Not caused, but she is the one that alerted to Cersei, and like we're gonna unpack that later. But like but also just like damn, and like the way that George just so casually drops it in there is so nasty work, George. Just like the way, yeah, it's like the way that we just drop that hint in there. But like even and like we're gonna talk about that, but like even that, like all of that is explained because she's a child, right? Because like Papa told her you can't have this thing, and like what is she, 12, 13? I forget.
11.
11. She's not even 13. Yeah, because she's an 11-year-old girl, and Papa told her you can't do this thing. She, like every 11-year-old girl, was like, well, fuck you, Dad. You're not the boss of me, and ran away from home to Auntie Cersei and said Papa won't let me stay up and watch movies, and Cersei, being evil, went, great, thank you for this information, child. Step into this broom closet, please. Like, and it's like I already know. Like, we haven't talked about this, but like I already know where you're gonna go with this, and like I'll let you at him. But it's like it is just so funny. It's like and like she gets emotionally bullied and manipulated because she's a child. Like, the way that this is actually some of like the best writing for Sansa, I would argue, because like we've talked about this before of like George has a really hard time writing kids. This is one of the few chapters where I'm like, oh no, this is a child. Like, this is the way a child would think. This is the way that a child would act. They're precocious, and they're also like angry, like right, like I mean, she's saying things that are ridiculous because she's a child. Like, I'm not naughty like Arya. I'm a good girl. I'll be the best queen. I'll be like you, right? It's like she is dealing with like 5 different evil Dr. Evils, right? Like a room full of Dr. Evils, and she is like a very scared, skittish chihuahua. Like, she didn't stand a chance. Like, of course she's being manipulated. Of course all these things happen. She's a fucking child, and she's scared. And then like I'll let you go, and I have other things to talk about, but like I'll let you go off, Queen, in a second. But it's like what was so sad at the end is like the way is like her thought process at the end of why she eventually agrees to write the letter, which is such a childish thought process of like, okay, well, if I do what they tell me, then maybe I'll be able to marry Joffrey still, and then maybe when I marry Joffrey, I'll be able to convince him to pretty please don't kill my dad, right, and pretty please let my family be, right, because that's what a child would do, right? Mm-hmm. This is a child. Anyways, go off, Queen. I'll you know what? I'm gonna get cozy. I'm gonna. Here we go. Here we go, baby.
Okay. So misogynistic men hate little girls. That's the thing that we all need to understand first things first. Mm-hmm. Because just like Catelyn, who, remember, Catelyn Stark murders Ned Stark in cold blood very soon. Don't you? She does it bare hands. But the thing that you might not remember is that Sansa also murdered Ned Stark. Because Sansa and Catelyn, they do a double team thing where they're like, hey, all the women around good, beautiful Ned, perfect Ned, big penis Ned, who is superior to us all. The women went, what if we kill him because we are evil and we are women? Woohoo, mwahaha. Our ovaries make us devil creatures. Okay, because this is the other thing. Because remember, I told you everyone blames Catelyn because she took Tyrion, which is the only thing that led to Ned having any problems, except for, of course, the other thing that directly leads to Ned's death, which is Sansa going to Cersei. Okay, I'm just gonna like extinguish this talking point here. Cersei was ready to go regardless of Sansa coming to her or not. You know how I know that? Because Robert's intestines were on the outside instead of on the inside. He was about to die. So if you think that there is a scenario where Cersei is just chilling, she's just chilling, being like, you know what, I'm going to stay in a meditative state until I know for certain he's dead, and only then will I move because I am like Ned Stark, until this girl notify me. You're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. Anyone who thinks that, dumb. So here is what happened. Because we have the timeline. If you just read the goddamn books, it's right fucking there. Ned wakes up. Lannister men are prepping in the yard and doing shit. You know why? Because they're getting ready to do some mischief. They're getting ready. And you know when that's happening? Before Sansa has talked to anyone. So once Ned Stark tells Sansa, hey, you're going home, and Sansa's like, I need to go talk to the queen, all that happens. All that happens. 'Cause remember, Ned leaves and then she leaves. So Ned has already gone to talk to the small council, and then she goes to talk to Cersei. The only thing that changes is Cersei would have been just notified about Robert's death, which means, hey, I'm about to spring my plan into action. And then Sansa shows up in front of me and says, hey, I was about to leave. So all that changes is that Cersei is now able to easily grab Sansa right here and right now. Sansa inadvertently served herself up on a silver platter, so they didn't need to go out searching for her. She was literally just there. And Cersei's like, great, thank you for letting me know. I'm actually about to go deal with this. So just go to this room over here. That's literally all that changes. The one thing that you could maybe argue, though, again, it is not confirmed in the text, I do not think that you can really pin it on this, is you could maybe think that, okay, maybe right after she sends Sansa away, she sends the guards after Arya. So maybe that. So maybe like the men in between Cersei's guards and Arya, the Northmen who fight back, maybe you can pin that on Sansa. Again, the 11-year-old girl, whatever. But like Ned, no. Ned was going to that throne room because Cersei called him, because Cersei is, also aware that her husband is dead and she's putting Joffrey on the throne. Sansa notifying her that, hey, we're about to leave, all it does is let Cersei grab the kids. That's it. Which she, like, even with the advance notice, she still fucks up because she only gets Sansa. So that's literally all Sansa does is get herself and like no one else captured. I'm sorry. Why does everyone hate little girls? Why Sansa walked into a room with a knife and stabbed her father 57 times in the back? Like, no, she fucking didn't. All she did was inadvertently get herself caught by the sociopaths. That's it.
Little girls everywhere I turn, I can see them. Like,
I'm so tired.
Yeah, no, I know, baby.
Am I wrong?
No,
Am I wrong?
No, I mean,
No, this isn't. I'm not attacking you. I just like reading that. I kept waiting for like, oh, this is the thing that Sansa says that directly impacts Ned and kills him, because that's what people tell me when I defend this character online. And I'm like, am I missing something? I'm like, no. All she did was say we're leaving.
Well, it's like, because even if you like take the position of that, because it's like, because what I sort of get from that is like, this adds a layer of drama, because I, as a first time reader right now, I'm like, oh, later in the books, when Sansa's no longer a child, she is going to look back on this moment and go, oh no, I killed Papa. A form of what's the word I'm looking for? Depth to my character, of a conflict within me, of like, I feel like I killed Papa, and this is going to be something that she will confront later on, right? Like, this is going to set up something for Sansa of like, oh, this is going to be one of her regrets. That's the word I was looking for, right? Like, it's, and ooh, it's going to be, whatever. Like, to me, I go, oh, this is just something we're setting up for later, for like, to give Sansa a bit of a journey of she's going to feel guilty and be like, I'm the one who committed my papa to death, even though, as he pointed out, that's just not true. And it's like, but even if you like take the position of the misogynists and say like, this directly made Cersei go, okay, now is the time, now is the day, right? Like you said, even if we take the position of Cersei was somehow in a meditative state, waiting, like a black widow, like women are, like. If you can't tell, that was a joke. But like, okay, she bumped her timeline up by a few hours, right? Like,
if that.
If that.
She would have, at the same time that Ned was notified that Robert is dead, who do you think is the one other person who's being notified at the exact same time, if not earlier? Because you have fucking Pycelle like scurrying around in the background. Like she knew whatever was happening was happening.
Which, once again, if we do want to lay the blame at anyone's feet in this whole situation, if there is one person that we could theoretically have shoulder the blame, it is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ned Stark himself, because lest we fucking forget, this is the same bitch who turned down 4 very viable options offered to him but a few chapters ago. And if he had taken any one of those options, even the one that evil crazy queen herself offered him, if she then tried to play him, he would be able to counter move and go, no, I'm not dumb, but he didn't. So Ned, as we said earlier, like we literally talked about this in the last episode, of like, the problem with Ned is he never has a backup. Like, that is the problem with Ned. It's not the fact that he is being honorable. We're not trying to say like, ooh, dumb Ned for being honorable. It's, you're being honorable without thinking about how other people are going to move and how other people are going to act. And like, as we've talked about, like, empathy plus intelligence is what makes a good person, right? Like, and Ned is just empathetic sometimes. Like, he's just a big old ball of empathy, a big old ball of honor, big old cuddly, bear type. Like, he's just a big old teddy bear. Like, ooh, squeeze. Because lest we forget, I forgot about the Ned sex chapter until they talked about the hot springs in the later chapter, and I'm like, oh my god. And then the sexy saxophone played in the background. But like, the point being, Ned is the one who done fucked himself up. Like, if we are going to point the finger at anybody in this scenario, it is not the 11-year-old girl. It is not the wife who is considerably smarter than him and understands the intrigues of court far more than Ned has ever cared for. Because lest we forget, every time this man farts, he goes, I am tired of these intrigues. It's like, well, bitch, they're not tired of you. Like, so if we are going to lay the blame at anyone's feet here, I am sorry, big Sonic the Hedgehog bros. It's your boy Ned Stark. It's your boy Ned Stark, who did about 50 goofs in a row because Sansa moving up evil Cersei's evil plan by an additional 45 minutes. Like, she didn't have time to wash her hair. Like, I don't see how this was a problem. Like, yeah, no, I agree. The minute you were like misogyny, I'm like, I know exactly what Rhani's about to go off on.
I get so tired because people, and this is the thing with this, and actually I shouldn't say this fandom in particular, no, this happens with fandom in general, is people will like come up with a position and then they will have a very selective memory of the texts to then support that position. So they remember Sansa going to Cersei, but they do not remember the context of it. And so for them, they're like, oh, well, she betrayed her family. I'm like, I mean, yeah, the 11-year-old did, the literal uninformed 11-year-old did the wrong thing. I am not arguing about that. But to contextualize it in a way like, oh, this was a betrayal of her family. She was screwing over her family. I'm like, it really?
Like, the text says, like, because like the whole time she's trying to protect her family. Like, she thinks she's doing the right thing. Once again, we've talked about this multiple times. Like, Sansa is so programmed. She is so plugged into this system, into the patriarchy. And she's like, if I only do X, then Y will happen. Right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, God,
in a fairy tale, like in the fairy tale existence, which is what she like currently thinks the world is because she's a child, there is always a solution that lets you have all the good things.
Yeah.
So all she's ever trying to do is like, okay, what is the path that I can take in my role that allows me to like fix all the problems? Because even like like we were talking earlier, the thing with the whole like justification for writing the letter that she comes to is like, okay, if I write the letter, this will smooth things over enough. I can still marry him, and then if I marry him, I can then convince him to leave my dad alone, and then like I technically get all the things that I wanted, and you know, things will be right as they should be.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not true. It's just you are still living in that fantasy world, and it's very sad. But like this is the moment where you are realizing that like, oh, this might not be real.
Well, it's also like what is so frustrating is like, okay, she's living in this fantasy world. You know who's also living in a fucking fantasy world, and yet we're not talking about? Fucking Ned. Like, and that's the difference. Is she's a fucking child. She's an 11-year-old child. Yeah, she lives in a fantasy world because she's an 11-year-old child. Ned is a grown-ass man who has a mortgage and who wants people to stop touching his thermostat. And yet, for some fucking reason, he believes that, like, a rat's nest, as it has been described as by him and his friend, of people who understand political intrigue and who only care about political intrigue, somehow, like, he thinks somehow they're going to act honorable. Like that's the dumbest thing. Like, and if I can point to one thing, you want to know what? You know what's good? I'll go off. I'm gonna go off, sis. I'm gonna go off, sis.
Not the rosé.
Not the rosé. You know what I can point? I can point to one specific thing that caused Ned Stark to die. I can point to one specific thing. When he shouts out loud the one piece of information that A, is both valuable, and B, he knows he will never be able to take back, and C, he knows is going to piss off the people in power right now. That is what causes Ned Stark to die. Like, that is the chain of reactions. That is what causes all these people to die. It is Ned Stark thinking that the world is an honorable place. And guess what, Ned? It's not. You are empathetic, and that is good. That is a good thing. However, you lack intelligence. You lack foresight. You lack the ability to see that other people are not going to have your code of honor. Girl. Anyways, if we can talk for a moment about not misogyny,
yeah, sure,
yeah. You know what's also just crazy is like it once again, just what a nasty chapter, George, because this whole chapter is like this child describing death. Like the whole thing of like, and the silence of the silence of the line, the silence of the grave, like, geez. Mm-hmm. And then the trauma of where she's like there was clashing of steel, which I was used to, but then there were other sounds, and I'm like, oh, mm-hmm. God. But also, like, we want to shit talk Sansa for being a dumb girl. She figures out pretty quickly a lot of what's going on. Like, she's not able to sort of make as quick and calculated of decisions as Arya, but like the whole bit of her figuring out the king's dead, like, she didn't know. She didn't even know the king was on the hunting trip, or you know, was dead on the hunting trip, right? But she was just immediately able to like oh no, the king's dead. That's what's going on, right? Like, this is very serious. It's also just a fun little like writing note I did want to bring up. I love how like George is able, because like it's the council chamber, right? And we've already heard Ned describe this council chamber, and it's so funny because Ned was like, it's gaudy and dumb and all this shit that we don't need, and why is there all this gold, and god damn it, that's why these credit card bills are going to be crazy, Robert. And then Sansa goes, this is the prettiest room I've ever been in my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, God above. And yes, also why, and to go off to your point from earlier of just this whole fucking room of Dr. Evil's tag teaming this woman, this small child, and being like, let's bully this child into you know, writing things that they don't necessarily believe or want to do. And I have two fuck yous for this chapter. Fuck you, Cersei, you piece of shit, you awful, awful, awful garbage human being, for manipulating and the way that Cersei plays her like a fucking fiddle. Cersei, a concerto baby. She knows exactly what stops to press, what strings to touch. Like, she knows exactly how to play this child. But then meanwhile, we have five-dimensional chess happening with Cersei, and then Littlefinger's just undressing this child, just sitting there, mentally undressing this, and the stupid line of like, she reminds me of Cat, and it's like, girl, we know.
Oh no, I wrote it down because they're like, oh no, she might be like the father, and then she reminds me of the mother, not the father. I'm like, stop it. Go away! Go away!
The way that the entire council chamber broke character for a moment, snapped their heads at him like, what the fuck? You gross man.
You icky. Stop.
And it just... I will just, like, everything. What's so crazy about me is, like, one of the thesis of this chapter that I got is like, this is a child. Like, just to wrap it all up. Of like, she kept saying, like, this is unfair. Girl, a coup just happened. Like, because she's a child. Because she does not understand that a coup just happened, right? And it's like and her being like to ask, like, my favorite, the other thing I wrote down that's like, it shows how childish she is like, the whole, like, you can ask anyone, I'm a good girl, ask Septa Mordain. I'm gonna be like, girl, Septa Mordain's dead. Like, Septa Mordain is dead. She is in a pit right now. Like, girl, because she's a child. Because she's like, this adult figure in my life, Miss Mordain, first grade teacher, she'll know. Like,
nah, we took her out. We took her out with literally everyone else you've ever met.
We killed that nun. Super killed that nun. She's super dead now.
Super dead.
Also, sorry, one more. My last note of the chapter: the flower of your womanhood, Cersei. I need you. I need you to stop. I need you to, you and Littlefinger, I need you to go and find a fucking sexual therapist to work out your fucking sexual traumas and stop enacting them on a fucking little girl. Like, I just need you to stop it. Please stop it. Gross. That is all I will say.
Well, that's this whole chapter. Just like gross. All these adults, gross. This whole situation, gross. Fan reactions to this situation, gross. Anyway, and on that note, let's take a break. And we are back, moving right along. We are on Jon VII. Well, lots of stuff happens. Jon is now north of the wall. He gets to be a ranger for a day. One day, Jon. Then go back to making that old man his meals.
One short day in the haunted forest.
Yes, correct. But they do some investigating, because remember, we found a hand last time. How scary. And all the rangers come out. Jeor Mormont, the Lord Commander, comes out. They take a look. They find two bodies. They are two of the men that went out with his uncle Benjen. But there's something weird, because Sam is like looking at the bodies and like, hey, I have been around too many dead things and I have trauma about it. So let me tell you. And Sam's like, no, because like they look fresh. But, like, because you can see, like, the blood splatter and stuff, but, like, when they rip the hand off, why wasn't it, going squirt? Why is it going sludge? That means that they've been dead a while, even though it looks like they haven't. But they aren't decomposing, so what's happening here? Weird things are happening here. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they have a time getting the bodies back to the wall, because no animal will get close to these things. Should be telling to the superstitious border patrol, just saying, but whatever, it's fine. And then
except some of them, except some of them already are like, we gotta burn this shit.
Oh yeah, no. Some of them were like, let's burn them, and like, no, let's take it to Mr. Aemon. Let's have the blind man take a look. It'll be fine. But then they get back, and oop. Bad news! Jon gets informed that his father is a traitor. His father is a traitor, and everything's bad. And so he's like disillusioned and he's sad. And he doesn't know what's real. He's like, oh, this is a mistake. And then Alistair Thorne, that bitch, has to open his big goddamn mouth. And so Jon tries to kill him. Just straight up, like no pretext. Just like he's straight, like had fucking 12 people not wrestled him off, the Alistair Thorne would be dead right now. But it's fine because he gets thrown into his cell as like, hey, you're like now not under arrest, but you're gonna stay there for a while we decide what to do. But then, oh no, weird stuff is happening at night. Oh, it's so cold. Why is it so cold all of a sudden? I'm smelling things. And he looks, and his guard, who's been guarding his door, is dead. He's like, oh no, I hear noises upstairs. The Lord Commander is gonna be killed by a thing. Oh no, it's an undead zombie thing. So he fights it. He has to he eventually is able to burn it. He gets the drapes on fire and throws them over the thing, and that's what ends up killing it. Burns his hand. It's a whole thing. But he saves the Lord Commander. Yay. Well done.
Yeah.
Spicer, what'd you think?
Jon Snow has clearly never watched a zombie movie before.
Never.
Not a day in his life. And I do love that the Raven was giving him instructions the whole time. I love the framing device of the Raven is actually kind of good, because at first I was like, why the fuck is this Raven here when we first met Mormont, our pirate. But then the way that the Raven is placed throughout, and then at the very end, and it's because it's used as a tension device. It's like a percussion thing of as this battle's going on, it's going corn, and then it starts going burn, right? It's telling us. So that's kind of fun and magical and woo. Also, not Jon realizing at the very beginning of the chapter of, oh, I could have been dead.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really good I didn't go with my uncle on this trip because I probably would have died. Whoa, yeah. Maybe I have a lot of growing to do.
Maybe that's why we don't send 15-year-olds out on rangings. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just spitballing,
Yeah.
Weird.
But also we love the continuation of Jon ally, fat ally, coward ally, yes. Being like, you could do it, baby. You could do it. And Sam's like,
you're gonna be the best.
You're gonna be the best. And then Sam's like, and then even still, Sam is tripping over his words, trying not to vomit because he's looking. It's also it's a dead body. It's a dead body. The first time when you see a dead body, which that was a question I had for you, Rhani. You've seen a dead body, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because I remember the first time I saw a dead body, it was weird. And it was an embalmed body too, right? Yeah. and it's it's a weird experience. And I mean,
yeah.
And Sam's also seen other dead things before, just not dead people.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Everyone needs to go and shut up. Also, who was it that I said? I wrote, put him in his place, mama. And I don't remember who that was for or in reference to. But put him in his place.
No idea.
Oh, I will say, I'm, two things, and then I will let you go on your rant that I know you're holding down, baby. One, I'll want to talk about this more in the next chapter, but boy, are we the dogs being magic, the wolves being magic, and the wolves also representing some heavy metaphorical and symbolistic shit. The way we are dropping the bars, and this dog is Ghost the magic dog, Ghost the magic wolf, who is here to discern and divine things for Jon because he's too fucking dumb half the time to figure it out himself. His emotional therapy dog is here to tell him, hey, danger, be aware. Did you notice the air got colder?
Uh-huh.
And the the other thing, and I realized this because this whole time I've been like, who does Mormont remind me of? I'm like, Mormont reminds me of someone in my life. Who is it that Mormont reminds me of? And then it hit me. It's our old directing professor, Terry Petrie.
No. Okay.
We had this very folksy directing teacher who he talked like this, and he was real big and he was real gruff, and he would talk about horses, and he and his wife like volunteered with like Native American tribes, and he'd be like the horses of the Ute tribe, and he'd like go on these stories and he'd tell you all these really things, and he'd be real gruff, and you know, he'd be tough with you. He'd be tough, but he's tough because he loves you, right? He's gonna tell you because he loves you.
Yeah.
And so I was like, the Mormont's literally just Terry Petrie. So now whenever I picture Mormont, I do not picture the guy from the TV show. It is Terry Petrie just shrouded in black, being like, oh, ice zombies. Like,
yeah. I guess I'm not disagreeing. I think of Petrie with the lower voice, and like he wouldn't yell very often. Like when he got big, it was always like a surprise because you're like, that's a level you don't hear all the time. But like I feel like Mormont, I hear him yell. He yells. I don't know.
It's literally okay. What got it for me is there was a line of like he was brooding on his horse, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking Terry Petrie.
Oh yeah,
that's Terry Petrie brooding on a horse. Like,
oh, that's funny though. That's really funny. Oh god, and that was just for us. That was not for the audience.
The audience isn't going to get anything out of that. That was just for us. We were going down memory lane. Our directing professor that directed us in the wildest production of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest ever. It was great. We had a good time. Choices were made.
I made so many people cry, and it still makes me happy. I made them all cry.
You did.
Remember when I made people cry, Spicer?
Yeah, no, I remember
with my performance.
But lest we forget who was nominated for an Irene Ryan.
Yeah. Politics. I get it. It's okay. It's okay. The white boys got it. It's okay. That's
they need it. They needed it.
How it goes.
They needed it.
You needed it. It's okay. I got my like affirmations and my compliments from the audience themselves, not from some rando academic. It's cool. It's great. So happy.
Anyways, tell me your feelings, Rhani, because
okay, I had a realization while reading this that kind of stopped me in my tracks, and I don't know if I have like cracked the secret code that I have just like never understood, or if this is a common knowledge thing, whatever. So we talked earlier about how everyone wants to blame Sansa and Catelyn for Ned, and like, oh, just all the stuff like, hey, if Catelyn hadn't grabbed Tyrion, he'd have never died, which is such a random it's such a random place to like pinpoint like, oh, this is the point where it starts. Like, sure, there's a million things that happen before and a million things that happen after, but this is the decision that leads to it all. Weird. Okay. But people like subscribe to that, and I've never understood why. And then as I'm reading this chapter, I see what I think is the only mention of that as like as an opinion, as a theory, whatever.
No, I know.
Now you know. And it has shook me to my core. So when Mormont is telling Jon Snow about, your father's been arrested, the king has died, they're calling him a traitor, blah, 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 Mormont is kind of going on like, yeah, it would be really great if they could just like send your dad up here. We need men like that. If only Tyrion was down in King's Landing, he could like tell them. He could tell them like, how much we would need him. But unfortunately, what does he say? He basically says like, I wish your lady mother hadn't taken Tyrion captive, so that they can have Ned. And Jon responds, and I have written down the full quote here. Jon, let's see. And Jon responds, Lady Stark is not my mother. Jon reminded him sharply. Tyrion Lannister had been a friend to him. If Lord Eddard was killed, she would be as much to blame as the queen. So, am I wrong in thinking that the only reason that this fucking like theory, opinion, whatever exists is because every misogynistic fanboy's favorite character is Jon Snow, and Jon Snow said it once? Did I crack the code? Is this legitimately like where we get the dumbest talking point of all time? Because the 15-year-old in a moment of emotional turmoil blamed the lady who he didn't like because she was consistently mean to him, ignoring all other context which he wouldn't fucking know because he's been up at the fucking border patrol this whole time. Are you fucking kidding me? And the fact that it's Jon is just, it's so like, of course it is, because Jon says it, so Jon is always right because Jon is the best character. Did you know that all the other characters suck? Jon is the best written character of all time in the series. All the ladies are stupid. Hate Sansa, hate Dany, hate Catelyn, hate Fate, hate. I am livid. Jon, you fucking idiot. Ah!
Just this rosé, Rhani. It's just, so delicious, so delicious, so nom. Sorry,
so delicious, yes. So refreshing,
no. There was another thing, and like this is something that happens in the next chapter that I think, because I also clocked, and I'm like, oh, Ronnie's gonna like lose his shit on this because not Bran, Rob does kind of a similar thing, but not for Catelyn. He does it at Sansa, where he says, when they're reading the letter that Sansa sent them, and he goes, Sansa didn't mention anything of Arya. How typical of her. Or not how typical of her. He basically is like, suspicious, whatever. It's like, did you stop to consider that maybe she has a knife to her back while she's writing this play? Did it ever occur to you, giant man-child, that maybe... No, it's crazy because it's like... It's so clear in that moment and all these other moments that like... So this is like a society thing, right? Like, because we live in a patriarchy, see, where we think women are bad and shrews and property and thorns in our side, and we constantly talk about how these broads, these maids getting in the way of shit. It's almost as if George is doing a thing where
but certain people, certain readers who I'm quite frankly amazed that you can read, have misunderstood what the point is because they can only do a very surface reading of the text. A surface reading where, I'm sorry, you're telling me that, you think Jon just called it. You think that boy genius called it, all 15 years of experience under his belt and all the knowledge of what went on, which at this point, literally all he knows is father has been arrested, father has been accused of shit. Also, at some point, Catelyn grabbed Tyrion. So yeah, if I only have those two pieces of information, maybe I could come to that conclusion and throw in the fact that like the person who I'm now blaming is someone who like I justifiably hate. Again, because I am a child who grew up with this being kind of like a negative, or at the very least apathetic presence in my life. Okay, reader, you weren't supposed to take that as God's word. You were supposed to take that as the musings of a 15-year-old boy. Jesus Christ. But I get when that's like the level of intelligence that you've kind of like stuck with your whole life, why that might seem like, oh, wow, he cracked the case. God damn it.
Because Ronnie, it's in the book. He wrote it down in the words, and the words of God. Did you know? Did you know, Ronnie? Did you know? Did you, Mary, did you know? Ronnie, did you know? Yeah, no, yeah, just fucking wild. Misogyny abounds.
Misogyny abounds.
Well, what's so crazy, dude, because like this is my final sort of note that like I sort of had for this chapter is like, so like this whole chapter, we keep getting like Jon's internal thoughts that are clearly, to use a RuPaulism, Jon's inner saboteur, Like,
Yeah.
like the whole
Yeah.
time. Like, so all these other times in italics where Jon is thinking the big boy thoughts, and it's so clear, like, oh, this is a 15-year-old boy having his feelings and thinking his and like, we shouldn't take this literally. But this one instance, no, this is the God's truth. This is the.
He saw through the fog. He saw through the lies of the Jedi. He's there. He's there. Because did you know Jon Snow is just Anakin? Jon Snow is just Anakin.
But he really
Skywalker.
is. But he really is Anakin Skywalker in this instance because he doesn't see through the lies of the Jedi. You goddamn idiot! Ah! You are a 15-year-old boy who is in his fifis because you gave yourself over to an order of border patrol monks and can't do anything.
Who aren't allowed to have sex or get married or
who aren't allowed to have
kids
or do anything because you're a border patrol monk against an unknown horror that none of you can comprehend, and literally the minute it presents itself to you, you're all like, what? Like, but no. He can see through the fog of war. He sees through the lies of the. Yeah, no, fuck that bullshit.
So, something I want to make clear, because I have been yammering quite passionately. I am not angry at Jon in this chapter, even for like having that thought. I think it is perfectly understandable. This is meant to be like one of his lowest points, right before he has kind of, you know, his triumph of like saving the Lord Commander. You know, it's our like Dark Night of the Soul for a moment, and so I don't blame him for that. It's just like I'm blaming like the readership. Like, guys, why are you only able to like contextualize things when it like benefits like your very specific like biases and view of the story and the characters and stuff? Like, it's so perplexing because this is, and I think we talked about it last week too, like, I love Jon as a character. I think his arc is great. I think it's fascinating. I think it's very emotionally satisfying. But like the cult of personality that gets built around it by all these like snow boys who are like, he's the best that ever was. Like, oh my God, I just can't. Like, they drive me crazy because they fundamentally like misunderstand the text over and over again to like benefit this weird misogynistic particular view of like not even just like this like fantasy world, but just like the world in general. And it like, wow,
well, it's also like way to miss the fucking point, because once again, it's not about the fucking pointy chair. Like, it's not about the pointy chair. It's not about the like these 3 chapters have been so fucking clear. Like of like, here's all this bullshit and everyone's fifis about this bullshit. Meanwhile, ice zombies are literally infiltrating the kingdom because our border patrol monks are woefully ill-equipped for this fight. We are all it's almost as if we were supposed to have some fucking dragons to deal with this bullshit. It's almost as if that was like a prophecy, and then everyone got in their fucking fifis and were like, no, I shall sit on the pointy chair, forgetting the reason the pointy chair fucking existed. But no, Rhani, his fifis matter, because he's a big smart boy with who is me, because I project my insecurities of my masculinity onto this dumbass character that I have a surface level understanding of. Also, fuck Alistair Thorne and Old Nan.
Old man! I loved our old man mention once again, going through that story. So spooky. And yeah, Alistair Thorne like almost getting knifed at the dinner table is a beautiful moment. Because like, fuck you. What is wrong? This is an adult. This is you know what? I forgive everything that the boys do. The Jon Snows, the Pips, the Grens, the Sam, whatever. They are boys. They are like they're either still children or barely an adult. Like, this motherfucker is old as shit. Has been here for fucking years because he didn't know how to pick the right side a couple decades ago during a rebellion, and so now you get to live here. Why are you like beefing with these children? What's wrong with you?
And on that,
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
And we're back, moving right along. We have Bran VI. Bran VI. Well, Bran is here. He has a new device that he gets around in, which is a basket on Hodor's back. And hey, look, all these men are arriving to Winterfell because we're calling the banners in. So the Karstarks show up. They're big and they got beards. Those are the Karstarks. There's other men. They have names like Kerwin and Bolton and things. The Boltons are creepy because Bolton don't talk very much. He just stares at you, which is unnerving. But Robb is trying to, come up with plans because they need to march down to the Neck so that they can help River Run with the Lannisters and all this bullshit, and then also hopefully get his dad back. Meanwhile, Bran is praying a lot because that's just what you do, I guess, when you're a stressed little child.
Bran found God.
Bran found God. Found him. He's in the tree. And so Bran praying a lot. Meets Osha. Osha is the wildling woman who they caught when they were, she tried to she didn't try to kill Bran, but she tried to steal from Bran. It's fine. But she was like, hey, yeah, Robb's going the wrong direction. He needs to be going north. That's where the real danger is. You guys really should stop ignoring it. I don't know why you're going south. That's dumb. And Bran's like, okay, well, I'll tell him since he won't listen to you. And so he goes, and then he actually ends up telling Lewin. And Lewin's like, hey, they have superstitions. What's magic? Don't worry about it. Maesters know things. We know things, and I know that isn't a thing. And Bran's like, okay, feels like it's a thing. I don't know. And then eventually Robb's like, yeah, I gotta go. And so, Bran, you're the Lord of Winterfell now. Congratulations on you've been promoted. You are one of my elite squad, or whatever it is. Poor Rickon is going feral, and he won't say goodbye because he's sad. And then, yeah, that's it. What'd you think, Spicer?
Abandonment Issues, the musical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's like, I don't know why Bran is suddenly losing his shit. It's almost as if everyone in his life keeps leaving him and then they never come back. And he's also a 4-year-old boy, which I know Bran has a little monologue of he's almost a man now, and it's like, no, he's 4. He's 4.
Bran is 8. 8?
Yeah, 8.
He's 8 now.
He's a
man grown.
Man grown. He understands the way of the world. Just a few things, because I got me a bone to pick, or not a bone to pick, but the thing I discovered I want to talk about. The voice of Lord Stark, that whole line of Bran describing how Robb talked to him when he was like, can I do this thing? And Robb's like, no. And he's like, the voice of Lord Stark, he knew there was no appeal. It's just there was a cute little fun little line. Also the bit of Hodor forgetting Bran on his back sometimes.
And then when he walks through doors,
Just the layers. It's very funny, but very problematic.
Somewhere else, the three-eyed raven is like, wow, I don't even have to do much. The giant is smacking his third eye open for me. I can take it easy. It's cool.
Also, we get more Old Nan drops and mentions, and I love that it is described that the baby punches Old Nan.
Yeah.
Apparently he has developed kung fu skills and is beating the shit out of his wet nurse. Cool. Anyways, but what I wanted to talk about, other than the intimate sexual lives of giants as described by OSHA in the equivalent of their church, what I want to talk about is how the wolf situation is it is coming into being. It is becoming very clear what is going on here, because I think there's two things going on here. One, there is the plot / lore related thing of these wolves be magic. If there were any doubts before this chapter, it is gone. lest we forget the giant fucking symbolism in which these wolves are introduced because their mother was killed by a stag. Lest we forget, mother was killed by a stag. Anyways, but like we get, it is so clear that they're magic, right? Like they understand things, and it's also like Rickon is kind of losing his mind, and oh no, his wolf is also losing his mind. Robb wants to control Shaggy Dog, and so suddenly what's his wolf name? A Grey Wolf?
Grey Wind.
Grey Wind, yeah. Grey Wind suddenly has to step in and help, right? Jon's wolf is feeling scared about shit because Jon's scared about shit. Like, it's almost as if these children are connected to these wolves. And then, because I think there's something so, like, beautiful, like, what George is doing here, and, like, these wolves are they're a metaphor, but, like, they are a metaphor of, like, these kids are connected to this land, right? Like, they are of this land, they are from this land, they have no business being in the South, because, like, they have, like, a very specific purpose that they hold in this land, and they have a duty to this land. And, like, people talk about that, like, oh, dire wolves have never been this far south before, like, that's kind of weird, and then, like, the dire wolves die before they could even get that far south, right? And then because I was trying to figure out, like, why is it that the dire wolves are dying for some of these characters, right? Because it's not just, well, when the character dies and the dire wolf dies. Like, no, it's something, there's something else going on here, because, like, Sansa is still kicking it in the book series, and her wolf is long dead. The first one to die, in fact. But it's like, it is, I think what the metaphor here is like, this is their connection to the land, right? And this is their connection to, like, their purpose as a Stark, right? Because Sansa's is killed by Cersei, you know, the literal symbol of, like, southern, you know, court intrigue and bullshit that Sansa has fully just drinking the Kool-Aid of, right? Like, this is yes, I would love to be a lady in the South and you know, marry a prince and have all this political intrigue, right? So, like, that wolf has been killed, like, her, because that's even a line in the chapter of, like, you know, why is Sansa in danger? Like, Bran says her wolf has died, right? And that's been on, like, two levels of, like, her literal wolf has died, but the wolf in her has died, right? It has been extinguished by the people outside being like, no, you shall conform, you shall do this thing, right? And then Arya's wolf isn't dead, it's just lost, right? Like, it's literally lost in the woods, like Arya is lost in the woods, right? Like, Arya has no purpose right now. Arya is literally running around, and, like, for the next few books is not going to have a purpose, right? And her whole thing is trying to find a purpose. Jon does have his wolf, and that's because Jon, of all the characters, is probably the one the most in tune with what he's supposed to be doing right now, because he's fighting the ice zombies, or he will be very shortly, right? And then, you know, Robb's wolf is, and then Rickon's wolf is just, like, losing his mind, because Rickon's losing his mind. But then, like Robb's wolf, it's, like, interesting, because I was trying to think, and, like, this is jumping ahead a little bit, I was, like, trying to figure out, like, how does this sort of fit into this metaphor? And it's like, oh no, it works, because, like, Robb, as Osha says, you should not be marching south, you should be marching north, you should be heading the existential threat, you know, that's about to kill us all. And Robb, you know, is so caught up into the political intrigues of the realm, right? He is so concerned about who's on the pointy chair, right? And the insult that has been done to his family and all this stuff. And so he's like, I shall ride south. And that is ultimately what is his wolf and then his undoing, right? Both die because they sort of get snarled up in the politicking of the South and not really concerned about what their purpose is, right? Their purpose is the North. Their purpose is to protect the North and to protect, you know, all of Westeros from the ice zombies that are about to come, not to get wrapped up in who takes the pointy chair. And it's interesting that, like, in this book, we what is really sort of not the inciting, both the inciting incident, but also sort of like one of the driving forces is, like, the Starks. When, like, the Starks, for the most part, have never really been involved in Southern politics, like, at all. Like, they don't care. Like infamously, they don't care, right? Because they are like, we got shit to do, we got walls to protect and ice zombies to look out for. But then like, what happens with this family? Whether it is their own choosing or not, they get snarled up into the political intrigues of the South. They have lost their purpose. That is not what they're supposed to be doing. That is not why they're this. They're literally one of the oldest houses in all of Westeros, right? The only ones that can sort of still directly tie their lineage to kings, right? Other than like the Lannisters or whatever. And so it's like, and they lost their purpose because they had a very specific purpose. Anyways, that is my whole spiel on the wolves, because damn, it is hard to ignore in these chapters. These wolves be magic and these wolves be important.
Oh yeah, no. The wolves are a like a never-ending source of like discussion because of how they act on multiple levels, what they represent. I agree with basically everything you just said. Something I'll point out, because we don't talk about theories too much on here, but one that I like is that the wolves' names relate to the eventual like what happens to the characters.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's okay. I like that theory. I like that theory a lot.
Yeah.
Lady, she becomes a lady. Nymeria, she goes across the sea. Like a Grey Wind. Grey Wind, I'm a little unsure about. What is that a reference?
Like the wind, it's there, then it's not.
Oh, got it. Yeah, Rick on Shaggy Dog. Like he literally turns into like a feral child. Like,
but also a Shaggy Dog is a literary device, or like a character, something that like doesn't end up mattering very much.
Yeah.
So. I mean, we don't know. George has said that he has important things to do, which is why he tried to tell the writers don't cut him initially, because they wanted to cut him like during the first season. And he's like, no, I need him for later. And then apparently they stopped caring because zigzags.
I was about to say, because then we had one of the angriest I've ever gotten at a death. The angriest I've ever gotten.
But then Ghost.
Oh, yeah, and because Jon, is a ghost.
Oh, and then Bran, Summer.
God damn, I see that theory. I like that theory. Makes sense. That theory that rings true. That brings joy. That sparks joy. That makes sense to me. But yeah, no. I mean, that was really all I had for this chapter. Is just me yammering about wolves.
Yeah, no. I will say this chapter, like, it was a lot of like prepping to leave, and then they leave. So it. Before we started recording, I told you, I was like, I defend Bran chapters pretty often because I think people like overreact to them. This one was pretty long and pretty boring.
Sorry, George.
Still important things. Yeah, sorry, George. Still there were like important little tidbits, and again, like the main message that we get in like the Starks are doing the wrong thing right now. They're ignoring the real danger and indulging in the not real one, the red herring, etc. And that's a problem. But I will say I will just mention a couple like little tidbits from the chapter that I think were fun.
Yeah.
I like the fact that we learn that the North doesn't really do knights. Like they have some, but like out of like 12,000 men, only like 300 of them are knights, because knights are a concept that has to do with the faith of the Seven, which they are not. So they wouldn't normally do that unless there's like a rando here and there who is into that. And then the other thing I was gonna say, Great John Umber is so fucking goofy.
Paul Bunyan. Paul
Bunyan just like coming in like screaming at the 15-year-old, being like, "Whoa, why do I have to listen to you? I'm gonna yell at you, blah blah blah." And then fucking Grey Wind goes, bites off 2 of his fingers, and then he's like, and then Great John Umber's like, "That's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. I love you, kid. This is my guy. This is my guy now." And then becomes Rob's like #1 fan. Insanity.
Oh wait, I didn't clock his fingers got eaten.
Yes, his fingers got eaten. He lost 2 fingers.
Jesus Christ.
And it's after that he's like, you know what, kid? You know what?
Yeah. I didn't need him anyways. It's fine.
Oh God. And also, because I think this might be the only time it's mentioned, and I hate that this was apparently memorable to D&D, the showrunners of Game of Thrones. Bran the Broken. Bran the Broken gets mentioned in this chapter where Bran goes, am I just supposed to be known as Bran the Broken? And the fact that, like, those motherfuckers with their TV jobs went, yeah, that's what you're going to be called, bud. That's what your name is going to be. Isn't it fun? No, it's not fun. It's not fun, you fucking monsters. Go to hell. That's all I have.
Because you know what the most important thing is, Rhani?
What?
Stories.
But not themes, because those are for 8th grade book reports. They said that. Never forget they said that.
Yeah, no, I remember.
I know. I just, whatever. Anyway, okay, moving along to our last two segments. We have a question from the YouTubes. Let's see. This is from Caitlin Watson, 2824. I need a run through of a jukebox musical of A Song of Ice and Fire, Book 1. Please. I love you both. We can't wait for the next episode. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm gonna talk first. I'm gonna say let's just pick a song. Pick a song. The jukebox could be anything, and assign it to a character. I have mine.
Okay.
It's gonna be for Jon. So you think? Well, I tell the people.
Okay. Go on.
So I want Jon Snow to sing the song Emotions. It's so emotional, baby. Yeah. And then you do the wig reveal. That's all I want. That's it. That's all I want. I just want Jon to sing that at some point. Get his feels out.
This is me stealing a little bit, but it's a song for Cersei.
Okay.
And what I want more than anything is to follow in the footsteps of the cinematic masterpiece.
No.
You know exactly where I'm going. The cinematic masterpiece of Amazon's Cinderella movie. And I want Cersei to sing Madonna's Material Girl. And you know what? You know what scene I want her to do it in? I want her to do in the scene where she gets Ned. And he's like, and it's like, why are you doing this, Cersei? Why? Because we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl.
That movie is so bad.
It's
so bad.
We watched it twice. We watched it twice. We can't. You
can't look away.
You can't look away. They literally made the black gay man the fairy. But in order to avoid saying a slur, we call him the fabulous godmother, which sounds worse.
Well, and don't forget they shorten it. They shorten it to Fab G. That it's almost like you've gotten really close to another slur. You've gotten really close to another slur. I don't. Anyway, great choice. Great choice.
Great choice.
Love to watch Cersei.
See, she would eat, and I want Lena Headey specifically. Like I want her.
Yeah,
I want her to be doing Material Girl. That's that to be clear.
Yeah, no,
yes,
absolutely. Okay, remember, please, if you want us to answer wonderful questions like these, please leave them under either the Spotify or the YouTubes.
Fabulous.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, and finally, Spicer, your favorite death.
Oh, this week. Oh, God. We had so many last week. We had such a plethora of death last week. Actually,
we have an option.
No, we do have an option. Janet Poole. Sorry, girl.
Who?
Jane Poole.
Oh, Jane Poole.
Yeah, Jane Poole. She gone.
She's not dead.
Oh, did she come back?
Yeah.
Oh, she comes back. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no!
You'll know when it's happening.
No! Because I'm like, oh, goodbye, little girl. You're about to die. Like,
no. I mean, in some ways, I kind of wish she had here. I think that would be preferable.
Oh no!
Poor Jane Poole. But no, we'll get there eventually.
Okay, well,
That's okay. I was gonna say Othor, the white.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
they get him. They get him. They get him again.
They got you, girl. Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
got you, girl. Fire drapes. Whoosh,
Fire
gone.
bad. Yeah, no, I'll pick Othor too. I will say
Yeah,
when it opened with it's Othor, I thought they were saying the others for the longest time, and then I'm like, oh wait, no, that's his name.
Yeah, but I get that. I can see that.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, I will
that's
take
funny.
Othor as well.
Okay, cool. Okay, great. Well, next week our chapters are Daenerys 6, Catelyn 8, and Tyrion 7. Remember, you can read along if you want. You don't have to. You just listen to us yap. But yeah, I hope you have a great week. I am going to enjoy my vacation, and thank you all for listening. Say goodbye, Spicer.
Goodbye, Spicer.